Have you ever felt like time is moving faster than you ever thought one day? You're full of energy, tackling challenges without a second thought. And the next you find yourself halting to catch your breath, wondering when things changed. The reality is, aging brings transformations that can be both surprising and challenging. Yet here's the truth: comprehending what's ahead can make all the difference in how you traverse this period of life. In this video, we're diving into 5 undeniable realities of getting older, ones that everyone eventually faces, whether they see it coming or not, from shifting social circles to unanticipated changes in how you see yourself. These insights will give you a new perspective on aging and how to embrace it with confidence. And be sure to remain till the end, because some of these points might merely alter the way you look at becoming older forever. Now, let's get started. Number 1. Energy levels fall. One of the earliest things you start notice when you get older is that your energy doesn't stretch as far as it used to. Maybe you used to power through a whole day without a second thought. Worker, ran socializing, even late nights didn't faze you. But now, by mid-afternoon, you feel like you've hit a wall, and even the simplest chores demand a bit more effort. It's not that you can't accomplish them. So you start picking and choosing where to invest your energies, because you realize you don't have the same reserves you once did. This transition happens gradually. At first, you would chalk it up to a bad night's sleep or an off day, but soon you know that this is the new normal. Your body doesn't health the way it used to, and things like staying up too late, skipping meals, or ignoring exercise have a higher toll than they originally did. If you press too hard, you pay for it the next day. This is why many older folks start to prioritize routines that allow them to perform at their best: superior sleep habits, regular movement, and healthier eating. You come to comprehend that energy is a resource, and the way you manage it matters more than ever. There's also a difference in how you approach rest. When you were younger, taking a break might have felt like a luxury, something you only did when all else was handled. Now rest becomes a necessity. If you disregard what your body is telling you, it reminds you, sometimes in the form of exhaustion, other times in the form of aches that weren't there before. It's not about giving up or slowing down totally. It's about learning how to move with your body instead of against it. And here's the point: this doesn't mean you cease doing the things you love. It just means you have to be more intentional about how you do them. You start preparing around your energy rather than presuming it will always be there. The reality of aging isn't that you can't be active or involved in life, but that you have to be smarter about how you spend your time and effort. Instead of running on autopilot, as you once did, you begin to focus on the things that genuinely matter. There's a statement that connects with many folks when they become older. It's not about adding years to your life, but life to your years. That's the key to this period of life: learning how to work with the changes instead of resisting them. Because when you figure it out, you realize that while you may have less energy than previously, you can still live just as thoroughly, if not more so, by being purposeful with the energy you do have. Number 2, social circles decrease as the years pass. You start to realize something unexpected. Your social circle isn't as wide as it used to be when you were younger. It was easier to keep up with buddies. You were surrounded by co-workers, neighbors, and acquaintances, when making plans was as simple as picking up the phone. However, as life progresses, onward connections change, individuals move away, family dynamics shift, and before you know it, the number of persons you usually engage with has shrunk. Initially, it's easy to shrug off. After all, life becomes busy and everyone has their own responsibility, but eventually you start to sense it. The quiet in moments area used to be packed with conversation. The holes where familiar faces previously were. Maybe you seek out to an old friend only to discover it's Been years since you last chatted, maybe you scroll through your phone looking for someone to call. I realize there are fewer names than it used to be. One of the hardest aspects of aging is that friendships don't preserve themselves the way they previously did. When you were younger, friendships were typically interwoven into your regular existence through work, school, or shared activities. However, as you get older, you have to put in extra effort to keep them alive. If you don't, they start to fade, not out of lack of caring, but simply because life moves in different directions. And then there's the reality that some friendships aren't lost to distance or period, but to something considerably more lasting. As you age, you start losing people, individuals you've known for decades, people who've shared your history. There's no easy way to prepare for that kind of loss. It transforms you. It reminds you that time is flowing forward, whether you're ready for it or not. But here's what matters. Although your social circle may diminish, the partnerships that persist tend to be deeper, more significant. You begin to appreciate quality over quantity. The friends who stay are the ones who truly matter, the ones who show up when it counts. And if you make the effort, new connections can still be made. It may take more work, but building relationships never stops being crucial. The other truth is loneliness can creep in if you let it. But just as friendships fade without effort, they can also be nurtured with intention, whether it's calling an old friend, joining a group, or simply spending time for folks. People matter. Staying connected is one of the most crucial things you can do as you age, because in the end of the day, it's not about how many people you know, it's about having people in your life who actually know you. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue developing good articles to enlighten and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 3, appearance and self-perception shift. One of the biggest surprises of aging isn't only how people see you, it's how you see yourself. You don't feel different on the inside, but one day you glimpse your reflection and understand the person peering back at you isn't quite the same. The face that once seemed so familiar now carries phrases that weren't there before. Your hair isn't as thick or as dark as it used to be. Your physique doesn't appear the way it once did. And even if you were never extremely concerned with appearance, you notice these changes. It's impossible not to at first. It could feel like a small item, a moment of astonishment, when you glance at an old photo and realize how much time has passed. But over time, it becomes something you think about more. Maybe you see a glimpse of yourself in a store window and make a double take. Maybe someone refers to you as sir or ma'am, and it takes a moment to register that they're chatting to you, perhaps, possibly. Maybe you just don't recognize yourself in them, and you once did. There's a strange disconnect that develops as you get older. You still feel like yourself, the same, somebody having the same thoughts, the same humor, the same memories, but the world starting treating you differently. Strangers regard you as an older person first. Before they see anything else, you could feel invisible in ways you never done before. People talk over you, assume things about you, or fail to realize who you actually are beyond your age. And then there's the internal war. You know that aging is normal, that it happens to everyone, and yet some days it's hard to totally embrace. Society has a way of making people believe like getting older means becoming less beautiful, less relevant, less seen. That's why so many individuals battle against it, seeking to hold onto their youth in whichever way they can. But the truth is, actual confidence comes from embracing where you are, not battling to stay where you were. There's power in owning your age and standing tall, and knowing that your worth isn't connected to smooth skin or thick hair. The wrinkles on your face tell a story. They show where you've laughed, where you've worried, where you've lived, and when you cease seeing them as weaknesses and start perceiving them as a map of everything you've encountered, you comprehend that getting older doesn't take anything away from you. It adds to you. The key is to modify how you define yourself. You're not just an older version of who you used to be. You're someone who has become evolved and gained a depth that younger years couldn't offer. And while the world may focus on youth, the truth is, there's a presence that comes with age that can't be recreated. A younger person might attract heads with their looks, but an older individual turns heads with their appearance, the way they carry themselves, the manner. They walk around the globe with a silent way of understanding that's something no amount of youth can replace. So while your looks may transform who you are, at your core stays, and the way you see yourself counts significantly more than the way anyone else perceives you, because at the end of the day, confidence isn't about looking young, it's about fully stepping into who you are without hesitation, without apologies, and without needing to be someone other than yourself. Number 4. Health becomes a daily priority. There was a moment when you hardly thought about your health. Sure, you understood it was important, but it wasn't anything that taking up room in your everyday routine. You got up, went about your day, and trusted that your body would keep up with anything you of it. But as the years go by, that changes suddenly. Health isn't just something you should take care of, it becomes something you have to take care of. It starts with small things. Maybe it's a couple extra aches in the morning, a little stiffness when you get out of bed. Maybe it's realizing you don't bounce back from a cold as rapidly as you used to, or maybe it's that first, whenever a doctor hands you a prescription for something you never dreamed you'd require. Slowly, health moves from the backdrop of your life to the forefront. It becomes part of the conversation section, of the routine element of what you have to consider about if you want to keep living the life you want. One of the largest adjustments to being older is understanding that your body has limits. When you were young, you could push through tiredness, miss meals, stay up too late, and get away with it. But now their repercussions come faster. You start realizing that how you treat your body today influences how you'll feel tomorrow. The late nights leave you dragging for days. The meals you used to eat without a second notion now don't sit as well. Recuperation takes longer, and suddenly things like stretching, staying hydrated, and getting adequate sleep aren't only nice habits, they're necessary. Then there's the knowledge that regular checkups, screenings, and meds aren't optional anymore. You start hearing terms like cholesterol, blood hypertension, and bone density more than you ever expected. And while it could feel weird at first, staying on top of these things makes all the difference. Catching issues early, following through with treatments, and listening to what your body is telling you can mean the difference between struggling through maturing and prospering through it. Yet here's the part people don't talk about enough. Your outlook toward health counts just as much as the physical side of it. Some people start considering their bodies as a list of difficulties to manage, concentrating only on what's going wrong. But the ones who age well are the ones who see their health as something they can still control. They stay active, keep moving, and do what they can to sustain strength, flexibility, and balance. They don't just sit back and let time take its course. They work with it, because the fact is, while aging brings changes, you still have choices. You can choose to take care of oneself. You might choose to make modifications to listen to your body, to offer it what it needs instead of what it used to desire. And when you do, you don't just add years to your life, you add life, add your years. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please remark number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and encourage you. Now let's move forward. Number 5. Sense of purpose evolves. One of the biggest shifts that happens as you age isn't just physical, it's internal. It's the realization that the things that previously gave you a strong feeling of purpose may no longer be there. For decades, life was built upon obligations, procedures, and roles that formed your identity. You were a worker, a provider, a caregiver, someone they rely on. And then one day, you find yourself in a quieter phase of existence, and you start wondering, what now? It's an adjustment that many don't see arriving. When you were younger, you had clear indications of success, career accomplishments, parenting a family, contributing to society in a way that felt tangible. But as those responsibilities shift or disappear, it's simple to feel like you've lost a part of yourself. Several people struggle with this more than others. They retire and feel adrift without their job. Their children grow up and start their own lives, and suddenly the place feels emptier. The habits that once governed their days disappear, and they're left attempting to know what follows next. The reality is, purpose isn't something you lose with age. It's something that evolves. The problem isn't that there's nothing left to do. It's that the definition of what gives life meaning has to alter, and that change can be uncomfortable at first. But the people who navigate this transition well are the ones who aggressively search out new methods to engage with the world they find. Hobbies, they volunteer, they mentor, they travel, they invest time on relationships, in learning, in personal growth. They comprehend that purpose isn't connected to a title or a function. It's tied to how you spend your time and people you share it with. One of the best things about aging is that you finally have the flexibility to focus on what truly matters. You're no longer chasing the things that appear so vital in your younger years. You get to slow down, reflect, and make choices based on what actually provides you fulfillment. Maybe it's bringing up an old hobby you never having time for. Maybe it's giving back in a way that makes a difference. Maybe it's simply appreciating life in a manner you never did previously. The trick is not to fall into the trap of assuming that aging is about stepping aside, about being less relevant. Your value doesn't lessen over time. It deepens. Experience, wisdom, perspective. There are things that only come with age, and when you embrace them, you realize that life doesn't stop giving you purpose only because one chapter is concluded. It merely invites you to write the next one on your own terms. Final thoughts. As we close out this video, take a moment to dwell on these 5 realities of aging. Which one popped out to you the most? Was there something that connected with your personal experience? Maybe you sensed the shift in your energy levels, detected changes in your social circle, or grappled with how you view yourself in the mirror. Or perhaps you've been handling the problem of sustaining your health or changing your idea of purpose. Whatever it is, know this: aging isn't about losing who you are. It's about adapting, growing, and enjoying the adjustments in a way that permits you to live fully. No matter what stage of life you're in, the reality is aging doesn't decrease you. It refines you. It strips away the noise and distractions, leaving behind what actually matters: wisdom, resilience, and the ability to appreciate life in a manner that youth never could. The key is to approach this period to take care of your health, cultivate your connections, and find meaning in the daily moments. Let go discard what no longer serves you and lean into the things that offer you joy. And most importantly, never let the world convince you that your finest years are behind you, because in many respects they're still unfolding right in front of you. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Post a remark below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to apply it in your life. Your thoughts are essential too, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your remarks offers us fantastic encouragement. If you appreciated this video and found it useful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue generating good content to enlighten and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.